Same like Blender. We don't care about the branding. We care about what we create. It's a different mindset. Stick to what it is because it's good. And I will tell you something else why it's good. Because Blender is different than most of all the other products or software in the world. It's free, it's open source, it's community software. There is like a need. There is no need. I mean, it's working. Look at what happened with Blender. It's like beating everyone, it's kicking the ass, like big time. There's no need. It's like if Blender was like this lonely piece of software what everyone is ignoring and nobody wants it, maybe then there is a need. But look at that, everyone is joining the Blender family because we're super awesome. Like we're this nice family. We don't need that. Like, go away. Hi there and welcome to a new episode of the CG Masterclass podcast. So it's number 3 and last week I did a small tutorial about creating a rocky forest. I enjoyed it, creating it. It was a long time ago that I spent so much time in creating something like that, that you building something from scratch and sharing that to others. And that's what I originally always did, creating tutorials, and then I switched to the environmental courses. But I have to say that I like the way how this went, so I will publish more. So I'm trying to combine with podcast episodes. We're talking about Blender, about the things where I'm working on, in combination with tutorials. So I was thinking about what's next. I wasn't sure what to do. But then I did some hiking last week in the Belgium Ardennes. I did some camping, I stayed there, and I shared that on my Twitter. And then someone said, hey, is this 3D? It was this image. Well, of course not, it's just my tarp camping with a fire and some barks around it. But then I thought, well, it's not that hard to recreate this because I'm doing quite a lot of photo scanning. So why not? Why not creating this scene in Blender? So I'm going to try that. I will do some fabric light scanning, some bark scanning, and creating this fire. I think that's like a very nice tutorial. So stay tuned. I don't think it will be next week, but something between now and 2 weeks if I have the time, because I'm also working on the release of my book. Everything is printed, everything is done. I'm just trying to do this good with marketing and stuff. So that's always the challenge with publishing something. And at the same time, I'm also working on my mini course, Unveiling 3D Environments. We'll release these on the same time because they stitch very well together. So the book is about the personal development and the things I learned, how to get the right focus to get like this super mind on creating large things as an individual. And the mini course helps with that. So I'm talking about how to gain these, how to get the best out yourself. We learn from the old masters and we're rebuilding an old scene for me. So there was this very old scene from 2007. 10 years later, I recreated it, and now we're doing a full rebuild. I will show you. I probably already mentioned. So this scene will be part of the mini course. So I also shared, I think, in this view, it was like the first creation, and 14 years later, it's looking like this. And I can imagine that if we are 10 years later, it will be totally different from this image. But it's nice to show the development. So I will fully unveil the process behind the creation of this image. Very interesting. So there are 3 chapters in this mini course. So if you have the book and this course, I think it will really, really help you in your Blender development. Because when I was young, or when I started with Blender, I wish there was like content like this that I could learn from, but it wasn't there. It was always about tutorials or small things to learn. But this is like the full package, how to start with very complex scenes. So this is something you can probably join or read. I don't know. But in about 2 weeks, I will do the release. So stay tuned. So that's about the tutorial, what's coming up next. I also want to talk about something that I saw on Twitter, and that's the new Blender logo. Yeah, there's a rebrand. So there it is. This is the new Blender. Oh, I got you. No, it's a proposal. As you can see, it's a proposal. A guy named David Kozma created this proposal. He had something on his mind. He was very excited, just like me and quite a lot of other peoples, with the upcoming Blender 3.0 release. What will be released tomorrow, December the 3rd, and that's a milestone. Why is it a milestone? Because we're changing numbers from Blender 2.x to 3.0. So over years, I think I have this sheet with versions index. So this is like all the versions that was ever released in Blender. So it's always been 2.xxxx. And now we're entering the 3.0 zone. So everyone is excited. Big shout out to the creators. That what I've created and shared to the community is so huge. Anyway, back to the subject. So we're all very excited, and some people think they need to do something to celebrate this and rebrand the Blender logo. And I think it's not a good idea, because I think any other logo will never be as good as what it is right now. So you maybe think, well, the Blender logo right now looks a little old, right? Yeah, it maybe does, but it's also very recognizable. And for me, for example, I'm very conservative. Each time when I see the Blender logo, it remembers me from all the years I worked with. And why should we rebrand this in something like all the other brands in the world, where you have this shapy, this bubbly, what is it, smooth shapes, black and white. I mean, it's all the same. Just don't do it. Stick to what it is, because it's good. And I will tell you something else why it's good. Because Blender is different than most of all the other products or software in the world. It's free, it's open source, it's community software. So for Blender, it's all about community and the software itself to improve this. And brand, in my opinion, is not something we should focus on. The only thing what can happen if we rebrand Blender is that people think something is changing. Like, is it now getting commercially, or what are they doing? It's like panic. For me as well, it's panic. I like to stick to what it is. I mean, like, everything around me in the world is changing rapidly. So some things, some products should be the same. Is that a good argument? Well, probably not. But why should there always be an argument for changing things? If you look at Blender, it's growing very, very fast. So it's doing a very good deal. People know what Blender is, what you can do with it. So it's solid. The only thing what can happen is that people get confused. But this guy wrote a proposal, so let's take a look at it. So this is why. Oh, this below is not a redesign, it's a refresh. Well, if I compare this logo with this, it's a fully redesign in like almost every shape, because it's changed the colors, it's changing the shapes, so it's not just a refresh. For example, look at the logo of Coca-Cola. Over all these years, I think it only changes one in the 80s, but then they returned back to the original. Why? Because people know how the logo looks like, so it's the same, it's recognizable. So don't do it, it's like horrible. 3.0 is nearly here, and I think the logo of Blender should also represent the new chapter. Why? I mean, yes, it's a milestone. It's huge. We changed to 3.0, but hey, take it easy. Stick to the the old looks. That's okay. You maybe remember that there was this discussion years ago about the redesign of the UI. I think Andrew Price. So, okay, came with this renaming, or so I'm confused. Redesign of the interface. I need this coffee now. Redesign of the interface, and it took years. I think it was 2.8 that the real changes started to jump in. But this was like in real close contact with the community. What do you want? What should we change? A very effective way. But now rebranding, because it's a new chapter, is something that I think it's very wise. I can code, but I like to contribute something professional. I think this is not about professional. You may be very professional in your work, maybe, but you also need to understand what Blender really is. And I think you're making a mistake on that. It's community software. It's not a very commercial brand. We should treat it very differently like that. And this is the best argument. Autodesk did it too. Well, at least he's joking on it, because it's a very bad joke. It doesn't need to be reinvented. It just needs, like, if there is like a need, there is no need. I mean, it's working. Look at what happened with Blender. It's like beating everyone. It's kicking their ass, like, big time. There is no need. It's like if Blender was like this lonely piece of software what everyone is ignoring and nobody wants it, maybe then there is a need. But look at that. Everyone is joining the Blender family because we're super awesome. Like we're this nice family. We don't need that. Like, go away. I don't like this. Really, it makes me very, not angry, but frustrated that, like, every time when something gets successful, there are people thinking they need to do something because they have like their craft and they can change things because they think they can do that. But sometimes you just don't need to touch it. Like, leave this. Really. And I understand he's a very professional guy, that he understands marketing. I don't understand marketing. I don't know. Every time when I create a course, I'm probably doing it very wrong. But I'm doing it with love, lots of love. Everything I create is with so much passion that I think, in this case, people will join it anyway because they're not looking at my bad marketing, but they look at what I create. And they think, I like to learn that as well. It's same like Blender. We don't care about the branding. We care about what we create. It's a different mindset. And the big thing is, like, and then it's making this comparison, like, so this is what it looks right now. This is how, but this is like, if you look at the right, typically how all the software programs looks like this smooth out black and white. Just don't do that with Blender. It's good how it is, and at least stick to the original blue dot in the middle. That's like the recognizable part, but you're removing this. That's not a refresh. That's a totally rebrand of what you create. I do not recognize this as Blender. Just not. Yeah, well, I can continue, but that doesn't make sense at all. What I just wanted to tell you is that sometimes some parts, it's not, you don't need to change because it's good. You don't need to touch it. Put all your energy in other stuff in Blender, but how you can do things more effective. And about UI design, there are all smarter things that can change. And we have these boards where everyone comes together. Join that. But what you're now doing is you're dropping a bomb, and people like all go like me into that because we don't want that. Just don't do it. Okay, I think my point is clear. I don't want to go into that too much. I know I'm very conservative on some areas, especially on these. Don't touch Blender. Just don't do that. Okay, so I talked about the upcoming tutorial, the TARP tutorial. So we'll spend some time and do some scanning and working it out. So I'm working on my release in about 2 weeks for my book, Super Focus. So I need to upgrade the website a little bit more. I'm doing, by the way, a cover upgrade. So I'm not sure if I have one book. Oh, there it is. So this was the original printed one. This is the Dutch version. It has like this. It's a hardcover with golden letters. It's a very special edition, but mostly I will focus and strap this right there. Look, it's like this. This is like the product only for people who speak Dutch or can read Dutch. And then I will fully focus on the ebook marketing. So it will look different. So this is like the Super Focus. I thought it was a nice design for the special edition, but the ebook will have a different look. And I will show you that next week, because then I will fully focus on boosting the marketing on that, or at least the promotion, because people need to know where to find it, how to get it, and stuff like that. So that's on my mind, and that's pretty much it. Sorry for the rage on the logo. I don't get that stuff, but it's not on the person. It's on the logic. It's that sometimes you need to know where to stop, and this is like the limit. All right, I like to end this. Always as positive, because we are positive, friendly people trying to do the best. But sometimes we get angry. But that's how we are. And stay tuned for new videos, because I will post them very shortly. All right, thanks for watching, and bye bye.